The other thing, which you internalized and then you shared recently, you mentioned the Travelers, you winning it again. You said that he also said he wanted you to be a playing captain. Why did you think it was important for you to internalize that and not share that at any point until now?
Yeah, I didn't even think much of it when I said it. I wasn't trying to keep that quiet. I just never said it for some reason. I probably shouldn't have. I see it's made a bit of some news, but I think it was important for them to, because part of it was a little bit. I was like, wait a second here. I'm still trying to play. I'm still in the what I think of the prime of my career. I'm not trying to, normally this role is for someone who's done playing. Their family's much older, and I think they wanted to get across to me that, they still wanted me to be a player, and that was important to hear. My goal is always to make a Ryder Cup team every year that they play, our President's Cup team, and so that there's no difference here when I start this year. As I want to play on this team, and it's just a very unique situation that I'm in.
It is. It is just that. And one of the other things, Keegan, that you said at the outset was that you were not going to pick yourself, and I totally got it. By you saying that, there's no reason for you to say, well, man, there's a chance I might pick myself. You can't say that either. And I've always believed that things change. Things have changed. You are not in the top six, but you are as good as anybody in terms of, you look at your team, Scheffler's in a category by himself. So now it seems unlikely that you wouldn't pick yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah, so when I started this whole process, I was on my own here. Like I didn't have any of my vice captains. I was just into this role. I had just learned that I was captain, and then I had Webb come on, and it felt a little better. It felt like more manageable. Then I had Sneds come on, and I was like, okay, now this feels great. I got a team starting, and then Kisner, and then Jim, and Jim's been spectacular just because of his experience and what he brings, and then Gary Woodland, and then now I have this team of five. As before I was on my own, and it just, everything seems a lot more manageable. They all bring such a different perspective and different attitude towards this, and I feel like they complement each other in a great way.
The answer, non-answer there from Keegan Bradley, and he's in a tough spot. Let me just say this. It was actually 1 year ago today that the official announcement came out from the PGA of America that Keegan Bradley was going to lead the United States at the Ryder Cup. It was a shock. It was very much a shock because he was completely off the grid. Hadn't been in a U.S. Ryder Cup team room since 2014. Yeah. That's why it was surprising.
Everybody saw the moment from full swing when he was left off that group.
But he's an elite player. He really is. You're going to have to work very hard to convince me that he is not one of the top 12 United States players.
So what do you do?
It's a great question. It is it is going to have to be really well orchestrated if indeed he is a playing captain. Because if you put him on that team, none of the other 11 players will be setting lineups, having meetings with his vice captains, speaking at the opening ceremony, giving a motivational speech, trying to rev up the crowd as much as he can as someone who is from New England and is so close with Bethpage. So it will take a lot out of him mentally and emotionally. Now, the question is, will it take so much out of him that he can't be the strongest player that he can be? So I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. I'm not saying they can't do it, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge.
Todd, here's my biggest concern as we steady ourselves for what seems like the inevitable. He's going to be forced to make this decision with how well he's playing. There's such a certainty because of how great he's playing, his familiarity with that St. John's background and the course there at Bethpage Black. What if he elects to play and he struggles as a player? Nobody seemed to talk about that yet. When we talk about how this is a distraction somewhat right now, does it metastasize as such a distraction then if he struggles as a player? Because then we're in there and he goes, oh, he's a captain and a player, and he's not playing well. Oh, now has it become this domino effect of, is he a captain in an effective way? And I just think if you can avoid that potential situation, you avoid it, no matter how well he's playing. It feels like to me, and I know the fire competitor that Keegan is, he wants to do both. It feels like you're flirting with danger if he wears both hats.
Yes, absolutely, you could. I am not saying that Keegan Bradley can't handle it. I'm just saying it's going to be incredibly challenging. He's going to have to play at least one session. He's going to have to play singles on Sunday, so that's a guarantee. I will say, if you watch that interview, Gary Williams did a really nice job with Keegan there and asking him the proper questions. And Keegan did say at the end of that interview that he is actually hoping that somebody over the next 2 or 3 months comes in and has a run, 1 or 2 players, and kind of makes the decision for him, and puts themselves in a position where they have to be picked. Keegan has said that if he's going to talk to the 6 qualifiers after the BMW Championship, and if they feel strongly enough that he should be on that team, it's going to weigh heavily in his decision as to making him a part of the U.S. team as a player.
I also wonder if they put his feet to the fire and he has to choose one, which would he rather be? Would he rather be the captain or would he rather be the player? I'll also straddle the fence here and say this, knowing how the high level he's playing at, his familiarity with the course, that passion in which he plays with, fueling this team, there's part of me that would say I'd love to see it because it does also create an advantage if he goes out there, plays great golf, and he's a captain, and it fires up the other 11 guys on the team and they feel like, it's our guy. We're doing something we haven't seen since '63. Let's go get it.
Yeah, well, if you had to choose, which is he a better weapon as a captain or a player, I'd say right now he's a player.
For sure.
Jim Furyk is going to be a key component on that.
That's also a big part of it, the support staff.
Key component in that team room for the United States team.